So this week in WordPress, we've got 3 articles to discuss. I sent them ahead of time to Andrew so he could read them. Now let's talk about them. Article number 1, Not a Developer, The Art of Remote Hiring, Starting Your Internet Business, Part 3. This article was written by James Farmer and published on wpmudev.org. James, of course, is the founder of WPMU Dev, as well as EduBlogs, both of which have been wildly successful WordPress businesses. In this particular post, he shares the remote developer hiring process that he's honed over the course of 10 years. If you're familiar with his company's work, then you know that he's definitely doing something right. His post includes a 42-minute video, so there's probably a bit more content there than we can cover in this segment, but some of the broad stroke pointers he gives out go something like this. Find a community, whether that's a forum, Facebook group, website, etc., where the type of people you're looking for hang out, and then spend a lot of time there. Number 2, be really helpful, and in the future, when you ask for help, it'll be more likely to find you out. 3, put the word out. Post that in your community. Post in the community that you've joined. Write a blog post about it. Create a killer jobs page on your website, and send an email blast to your list asking if anyone already active in your community would like to get more involved. Andrew, I know this is an area that you've actually had a lot of experience in, hiring remote work or remote developers and a remote team.
Yeah.
So I got 2 questions for you based on this article. 1, what did you think of it, just in general? And 2, what does your experience hiring remotely look like?
Well, I thought the article, it was a long one, and I actually did watch the video, and I think it's wise if somebody's looking to hire someone from where, from miles away from where they are. The point of the article was, if you read in between the lines, it's kind of don't let people trust you before you get trustworthy. And vice versa, with don't trust anybody until they get trustworthy. So
right.
The point that they were making about joining the groups, I've got the same philosophy: join Twitter, join a Twitter group, join a Facebook group, build up some trust, be genuine, be honest. You say if you can't deal with a situation, try and push them on to somebody else. It's like going to a shop and saying, have you got this particular TV? Years ago, the kind of mentality was to say, no, we haven't. Now it's no, we haven't, but I know that X store down the road has got that. So if you go down there, it's there. So you've got to build yourself up into a knowledge base of other people that are capable of doing that job.
Right. So even if you don't know, So even if you don't know what the job is or how to do it, you can say, I have someone in my network that can handle that, and let me connect you to. And then, so I think that's what you're saying is an example of being useful, even if ultimately what you're doing is looking for help.
Exactly right. So if I'm looking for help, I'm going to find people by helping other people, because they're going to give me a tip. And the actual example of this is I have 12 developers on the Indian continent. They've been with me for 9 years. Can you imagine? They've been with me for 9 years.
Wow.
I got them by using a UK developer and programmer who used to use them, and he got too busy to do my work. So he said, you know what? Just go to these guys. And now I'm with them, and they are my developers. Now I've got 3 UK-based developers, 4 graphic designers, and now, as of last week or 2 weeks ago, I added another UK developer to my list, because you need everybody you can.
Article number 2, how to use keywords throughout your marketing strategy. So this was a post written by Christy Hines, I believe, and published at moz.com. That's moz.com. In this article, Christy explains how keywords can play a bigger role in marketing than most people realize. By now, most people are already optimizing their blog posts and websites for SEO using keywords. However, there are a lot of other places that keywords can be useful too, such as social media profiles, social updates, high-quality guest posts with a big star next to high quality, directory listings, email subject lines, and probably a whole lot more. So, Andrew, I chose this article because I know you're actually a bit of an SEO specialist. So what are some of your thoughts after reading this?
I have always had the mantra of talking in keywords. It's a bit boring SEO unless you kind of just, if you really dive into SEO, it's really interesting, because a lot of people think it's about keywords and there's content marketing and content is king and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But actually the key to SEO is research. And there's a great thing that she puts in there about doing research on your keywords to, give yourself some blogging ideas. And she uses the AdWords keywords
Yeah.
key tool.
And there's
But
others
actually,
out there. Yeah.
No, listen, I've got the best tip ever.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah. Hit
It's
us with
simple.
it.
So you put in your key phrase that you're interested in writing about or that you're interested in promoting, and then you scroll right down to the bottom, and Google gives you 8 to 10 people have searched for this as well, and they are variants around your key phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You copy and paste them into Excel, and you make a little table, and those are your subjects. That's your subject or your titles of your next blog post, and your keywords and your key phrases. It's the easiest way to make up a blogging diary, if you like.
I wanted to ask you specifically about Divi and SEO, because I know you work a lot with Divi and you specialize in SEO. So I'm sure that you have some sort of tips or optimization things that you do with Divi specifically that a lot of people might not realize are possible. Do you have any SEO optimizations that you that maybe most people won't think about that you could pass on?
Well, I don't use Yoast. I'm not a Yoast fan, and Yoast seems to be a massive plugin that people use. And you actually don't need to use a plugin, but actually the reason I use a plugin, I use All-in-One SEO. I use Yoast, but I prefer All-in-One SEO. I think it's simpler. There's no traffic light system. There's no confusion. Yoast has an issue currently recognizing images in Divi for some unknown reason, that they're there, and it has some issues with sitemaps as well. And I think they're getting over that as well. And I'm not dissing Yoast. It's just not my preference.
Sure.
So I use All-in-One SEO, and I make sure that I use the social side of All-in-One SEO, and I make sure that my social sections, because it's got loads of little things in there, that allow me to make sure that my Facebook posts appear with the right featured image, that because you can put more meta descriptions in there for social as well. And I use it to build my sitemap as well. So it's just the same basic things that you would do on SEO. You make your page titles consistent and what you want people to search under at their H1 tags already. You'll use your hierarchical basis for text. So you've gone H1 in your title, H2 for your secondary headlines, and H3s if you want to. I just use H1s and H2s, but make sure that your content, one, is relevant to what you're talking about, two, has your key phrase that's in your page title, and also make sure that your URL is the same as your page title as well, because it's a friendly URL and you want that picked up as well. Don't worry about Divi and SEO, because at the end of the day, WordPress is your building block. You're using Divi to facilitate you building a beautiful website. Just make sure that you follow the SEO rules. And my best bit of advice, don't learn from people like me, don't learn from people like Moz. Go to the horse's mouth, search Matt Cutts, watch his videos, go to Google Webmasters and join up Google Webmasters.
Yes, for everybody who's not aware, Matt Cutts is the SEO guy at Google, and he's also who all these other SEO experts are taking all of their cues from. At least as far as what's coming down the line with Google and Google best practices. Okay, so article number 3, 8 ways to attract leads that will grow your WordPress business. This article was written by our very own Joe Filan on the elegantthemes.com blog. It functions as a good follow-up to another post he wrote for us recently called How to Create a Sales Funnel for Your WordPress Business to Land More Clients, something that obviously we'll be talking a lot about a bit later on. In essence, this post actually consists of 8 strategies for filling a sales funnel, and they are 1, promoting your content, 2, using pop-ups on your website, and Andrew, I know you're going to have something to say about that, 3, utilizing Twitter, 4, Facebook ads and groups, 5, LinkedIn, 6, public speaking, 7, networking, 8, joining a local or virtual mastermind group. Andrew, what do you think of this list?
The list is quite extensive. The list is good. LinkedIn. I'm going to hit it in reverse now. Or mastermind groups. I'm going to hit mastermind groups first.
Sure.
You have BNI in the States.
BNI.
It's like a breakfast club.
Oh,
like a breakfast meeting club, networking club. We have
possibly.
It over here.
I'm not sure.
It's a franchise. Well, it's a franchise anyway. So there's a lot of these breakfast clubs. So I would suggest going to one and then deciding that it's not the right thing for you, or deciding that it is the right thing for you. Some of the people, some of the things they get up and give a 1 minute presentation on
Yeah.
your business and then give me a referral. So they're kind of referral groups.
Okay. I mean, I'm a big
And they,
fan of meetups, and that's something
yeah,
that's really
meetups are great.
popular all over
Yeah,
the place. And I think that's the same idea. It's on it's a group on a specific topic who are authoritative and or interested in learning more, getting together.
exactly right. Exactly right. So, but that's what I would class as a mastermind group. You're
Gotcha.
getting people together. Some of them are playing catch up. Some of them are very advanced, and that's good because then you get together in your group and you learn. And that's what the Facebook group is about.
Yeah.
All
Which would
Facebook
be the
groups are
networking as well. I mean, I think the
exactly.
networking is also physical networking and going to events and doing things like that.
Listen,
So,
there's nothing like really pressing the flesh, especially if you're a local business. It's not. This isn't business isn't just about your website, even if
hmm
you are a web developer. But if you're trying to sell something else, like I say, like pink widgets or a fridge or a plumbing business, you need to get out there and press the flesh. And I don't understand, or I don't get it where plumbers. I don't know any plumbers as friends of mine. I don't think plumbers actually have any friends because the
they're
reason behind
always
that.
working.
Well, the reason behind it is they're always working, but they also don't want your friend phoning you at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, I can't turn off my stopcock. But we know that LinkedIn does work. It's more of a recruitment. It's turned into a recruitment agency kind of
Yeah.
platform. Here's your job. Try and get some stuff done. So I'm going to ignore LinkedIn because it's not for me. I don't use it. I post on it occasionally. I get the odd lead, but they're not worth anything really. Where I do get a lot of work from and a lot of referrals from is Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Because I get involved in a Saturday morning group that starts from 8:30 in the morning and lasts until 9:30. And we're just telling people what we're up to, telling people what we're doing, why we're doing. And it could be social. I'm just out walking the dog, or I'm just going to get a bacon sandwich or something like that. But
And you
it
do this on Twitter.
builds, and you do this on Twitter, and it's like a Twitter feed that just goes on, and you hashtag it. And I know that there's hashtag Glasgow, there's hashtag Windsor, there's hashtag London, or whatever it is, and so everybody can follow that Twitter feed. That builds up momentum, that builds up connections, and I have now 5 clients from that Twitter feed over the last 6 months. So they're in interior design, they're in
Yeah.
flooring, they're in publishing, all these kind of things. So that's a really good thing.
I think something people forget a lot is that at the end of the day, like what you're saying, you're engaging with people in your neighborhood, in your local area, in your city,
Yeah,
and you're just building relationships. It doesn't necessarily have to be a direct call to action so much as it's like, "Hi, I'm Andrew. I exist near you. Like,
exactly.
let's learn about each other. Let's become friends." And then, 6 months down the line, they're like, "Oh, I should have a website for my business. There's this guy named Andrew who I talk to on Twitter all
Yeah.
the time, and he has a website company." So I think there's a really basic, you know, understanding that has to take place there, because when people start a business and they want to start filling up their funnel with leads and prospects, they want to do it right now. They don't maybe realize that there's a process involved that includes building relationships and building awareness and building authority. That's going to take some time, and then over time that's going to turn into a consistent funnel.
Exactly. It's just like when you have a client that has a new website, for instance, you have a situation of you've delivered that website. It's 2 weeks down the line, and they're saying, "Hey, I've put my keywords into Google and it hasn't arrived." Well, of course it hasn't. It's not there, and I'm not on the front page yet. And you go,
Right.
it's a facepalm moment. And every
Yeah.
developer and every SEO guy and every marketer has faced that situation. You try and explain to them it doesn't actually work like that. It is the same in business. You know yourself. You've done some business, and I've done some business, or you've looked for a job, and
Yep.
sometimes it takes a while to get a job. And sometimes
Yeah.
it takes a while to build that relationship up.
It's like proposing on the first date, man. You gotta pump the brakes for a second.
Yeah,
Build the
exactly right.
relationship first, and
Yeah.
then make the big commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Proposing on the first day. I like that. I like that. And I'm going to steal that. But it is. So, and that's where you build. This is how you're building your funnel, because this is kind of what this conversation is about. And you're going
Yeah.
to lead into that, I'm sure. But patience is the first thing that you need, and not to panic. Please keep calm and don't panic, because if you've thought about this brilliant idea and you have invested your time, effort, and a little bit of money into it, then you've got faith. So you've got to keep the faith in yourself to be able to deliver this product, this service, this whatever you're providing to people. And if you don't keep the faith and remain enthusiastic about it all the time and smiley and hi, this is what it's about, and this is not in everybody's face.
Yeah, and you don't have to be fake about it. You just have to know on a deeper level that this is what you're doing and you're confident in it. So even when you're like, maybe not feeling it, you can still project that persona because that's a direct reflection of how you really feel about it, whether or not you're having like a bad day or, you're tired or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, we're not allowed, if we're self-employed, or we run a business and we've got some staff, we're actually not allowed to have a bad day, because
not in public anyway.
No, not in public, especially if you say have an office. I heard someone say it was somebody fairly famous saying it, if I walk into my office and I don't say good morning to the receptionist, my father could have died 2 hours ago, and I am not going to show that receptionist that I'm not cheerful. Because I need her to do her job. I don't need her to worry about how I'm feeling. I need her to know that I'm okay. Because the receptionist is the most important person in the building. We all know that. They're the first person that receives the call. They're the first person that a customer will speak or a potential customer will speak to.
We've got a future show coming up about that in terms of... Yeah, well, it's not about receptionists exactly, but it's the digital version of that, which is your support staff or a support-centric approach to running a business.
Yeah, well, I have a VA, so I know where you're going. So my VAs, they're very important to me.
So let's talk about the last two things real quick on the list, going backwards. Using pop-ups and promoting your content. I know you have beefs with pop-ups.
Well, I don't have a beef with a pop-up. What I do have is a beef with the implementation of a pop-up.
Okay.
I actually quite like a pop-up, but not within 5 seconds of that website loading. Okay. Because you're blinding me to the content. So if I use pop-ups, which I do on a couple of my websites, I put a 45-second timer on it, and it works. I get loads of signups. It works better than my static pop-up or than my static sign-up form.
Sure.
So I've got nothing against pop-ups per se, but I've got something against pop-ups that don't give me a chance to read the content. Don't, kiss me first before you ask me to go to bed with you. Kiss me first. So I need you to show me what you're all about.
Yeah. What about promoting? What about promoting your content? I mean, it's pretty, general, obviously, but when it comes to filling a sales funnel up, what role does content play in getting it into the hands of the right people?
Content is very important, and I think I was listening to Phil Simon the other day about building authority. It's all about building authority. Okay, so if you write sensible content, I tend to write very short content. I'm 500 words or more because I kind of like to get to the point. Yeah. And I hope I do get to the point. It's proven. I've got a full order book. I can't actually accept any more clients at the moment, so something's working. I'm running a website at the moment that's getting 1.5 million page views a month. It's incredible. There's a lot of content on there.
So what do you do to get that content in the hands of the people who need it?
Actually, on that one,
in the hands of the people who are going to be ideal for filling up your sales.
For that particular website, its demographic is 18 to 25-year-old women, really. So what we're doing is we're Facebooking a lot. There's a lot of posts going on Facebook. There's some boosted posts which aren't necessarily around the product or the content.
I'd recommend Pinterest as well.
Pinterest
demographic
is very powerful for anything, really. Especially if you're a graphic designer, for instance, or a web developer. Why aren't you using Pinterest? You've missed a trick there.
Yeah.
And Instagram now, and you can advertise on Instagram, which is just very recent over the last, I think, month or so. You can now boost your posts on Instagram. If you are quite clever about your tweeting, about your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts, and applying to be a guest blogger, and all of a sudden, I've got loads of work coming in, or loads of inquiries coming in.
Yeah.
That's how you get the content out. Just push it out.
Well, that's it for this week in WordPress. If you're interested in reading the articles we discussed, you've got two options. YouTube viewers can check the video description for links, and everyone else can find the show notes on our blog at elegantthemes.com. Just go to the community category in the right-hand sidebar, check out the post for Divi Nation Episode 7. Don't forget, if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, take a moment to subscribe, follow, like, and/or share. It really helps. Thanks.